My name is Musu Bowling. Good afternoon to every Sierra Leonean out there, my brothers and sisters. I am a Sierra Leonean, born Sierra Leonean. I grew up in Sierra Leone, Kono district. Actually, I moved to the United States some 12 years ago, and this is the first time, March 2011, I decided to visit the Republic of Sierra Leone. My visit was very awesome. I had a good time, but I'm deciding to do this because I want to send a message out there to His Excellency Anis Koroma, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Mr. Koroma, Your Excellency, this message is to you because I have a very big concern, and the concern is about our people who continue to die as a result of of nonchalant behavior of the people who are not following the rules and regulation of the health modalities. For example, when I went to Sierra Leone March in 2011, I saw a lot of things that I like, but also I saw a lot of things that I did not like. I don't have the money or the power to change stuff, but I have the liberty to send my voice out there to Your Excellency Ernest Koroma and your government to make sure that the quality of life in Sierra Leone is maintained. It's a plead. I'm pleading to all the government officials in Sierra Leone to stand with me and make sure that we are providing good quality of life for our people in Sierra Leone. Well, one of the biggest concerns that I have today that I want to voice out to you guys is that no one is making sure taxi cab drivers or the bikers, the bike drivers, they call it the Okadas. No one is really making sure that they have legitimate licenses to drive, because a lot of those drivers, especially the bikers, the Okada drivers, most of them do not really have legal licenses to drive on the street. Some of them have licenses and it's not even being verified by officials to make sure that those people really know how to ride a bike. I have lost two relatives as a result of careless driving by the bikers. I've lost two cousins who were hit by the Okada drivers. They died on the spot. I have three friends who were they fell off the bikes and died on the spot. That's as a result of careless driving. The Okada drivers don't even stop and look back and say, "Oh, I just dropped somebody." Soon as somebody falls off the bike, they just proceed to drive. They just go. They don't even turn back and say, "Oh, I just hit a human being," which is very, 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 very sad, and it's of great concern. But the reason why I know this is going on in Sierra Leone, because a lot of people will just show up at a motor vehicle or licensure departments and declare themselves to be a good driver. As long as they have money, they give the people the money, and the people in turn give them licenses to drive on the streets without even making sure that they could really drive. For example, in the United States, I'm sure other part of Europe, in order for you to obtain a motor vehicle license, they have to prove that you can drive. In the United States, because I've never been in Europe, but in the United States, everybody knows, all of us that live in the United States are aware that in order for you to have a driver license, you have to be tested. You have to be tested by a motor vehicle conductor or a law enforcer. You have to be tested to make sure that you can really drive and you're ready to go on the road, that you know what you're doing before they will let you give you the license to go over there to go on the street and drive. But if that's not taking place in Sierra Leone, people just go and show up. "Oh, I know how to drive." Okay, it costs that would be 200,000 leons, or that would be 100,000 leons. They give them money and they in turn give them the license without even making sure that those people are qualified to drive on the roads. They're qualified to take passengers, because the people, first of all, those drivers do not know how to talk to passengers. Those drivers do not respect the lives of passengers, and those passengers are all Sierra Leoneans. They are all Sierra Leone. They are people of the Republic of Sierra Leone. They deserve respect. They deserve respect. They deserve people to look at their lives and say, "Oh, this is a human being. I have to be careful the way I drive them. I have to be careful when I drive a vehicle." But if the drivers do not have the education or the knowledge behind they know how, in order for them to get behind the wheel, a lot of people are gonna end up dying. A lot of people are gonna end up being hit on the street. When they see people on the street, they don't know how to avoid crowd. They don't know how to avoid people. They just drive through and hit whoever they can, and they proceed to leave. If the law catches up with them, if the people, the victims are lucky, maybe they'll buy a bag of rice and bring them to the families and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Here's a bag of rice. Here's 200,000 leons. I'm sorry. That didn't mean to. That didn't. I didn't mean that to happen." And that's that. That is not good. I know money is good, and I know there's a lot of poverty in Sierra Leone, but poverty should not be an excuse for anybody, driver or Okada driver, taxi driver. Poverty should not even be an excuse for us to just kill innocent civilians. Those civilians deserve people to speak up for them. And to you, Anes Koroma, I give you a lot of kudos. I give you a lot of respect, and I really acknowledge and recommend that people give you the regards concerning what you're doing for Sierra Leone right now. The road construction that's going on in Sierra Leone is a very awesome activity that I observe. I know they're constructing the roads, even though the traffic is still terrible. I mean, Sierra Leone, Freetown is really congested. There are a lot of houses on the street, and I know they're constructing roads, but it's still a one-way traffic. I can call it. I don't call that a two-way traffic. It's still a one-way traffic. But you're doing a good job, because they're constructing some roads to make it even, because it was rocky, and for you to have the initiative to be doing what you're doing, I think you deserve a thank you. You deserve a recommendation that you're doing a very good job. But my concern is the quality of life in Sierra Leone. Someone needs to get up and do something. Another example of what I saw that I didn't like is people selling medicine, expired medication on the streets. Expired medication on the street. Nobody checks. No one supervises. No one audits. No one monitors the activities of people who sell expired medication on the street. Just imagine, if I get sick, I have malaria, or maybe I have cholera or whatever, and I'm buying expired medication. It's not going to do me any good. It's going to make my situation worse than it is. So, Anes Koroma, you and your government need to make sure that those people who are selling expired medications on the street, in the stores, in the shops, that needs to stop. Because selling expired medication on the streets is not helping our people. It's just killing our people. It's very sad. I love Sierra Leone. I love its people. I love everyone that's Sierra Leonean. I'm not ashamed. I was born and raised in Kano. I'm a Kano. I speak Kano fluently. I speak Fula, Mende. I speak Timini. I speak Creole. Man, I speak a little bit of Limba, because I like to interact. I love every tribe in Sierra Leone, because I believe we're all the same people. I'm not tribalistic. I just believe that everybody is the same. So please, 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 honest, make sure you're campaigning, or you have people out there who are making sure that expired medications are not sold on the streets, who are making sure that the bikers, the Okada drivers, the taxi drivers are having legal licenses to drive on the streets. Because if they don't know how to drive and we issue them licenses, they go out there on the street, they don't know what they're doing. They go through the crowds, killing people, hitting people, or maybe when they're driving, people fall off the bikes and they keep on going. That is not safe. That's making the quality of life in Sierra Leone poor, worse than it's supposed to be. Please, let us stop. Let's prevent. Let's prevent untimely deaths of people just as a result of careless drivers or illegal drivers on the street. Illegal businesses that engage in selling expired medications. That is pretty sad. I am very, very, very upset about what I saw. And also, something else that I witnessed. People falling into wells, water wells. I was there and 6 or 7 people died as a result of unprotected, uncovered water wells. People are falling into those wells. Children are falling into those wells. They are vulnerable. Somebody needs to protect us. Somebody needs to protect the people in Sierra Leone. by taking measures to make sure that the quality of life is getting better. Technology has advanced, people are developing, everyone knows what's going on in the world. So there should be the awareness that we need to do certain things to make the quality of life of our people in Sierra Leone better. And as Chroma, I'm sorry if this is offending anybody, but I'm just concerned. I'm just a concerned citizen of the Republic of Sierra Leone, talking to the president and his people and his government to make sure that expired medications are not sold on the streets, to make sure that taxi drivers have legal licenses, real licenses, that taxi drivers really know what they're doing before they ever get issued a driver license. They need to make sure that the Okada drivers know how to ride a bike before they can issue them licenses to be on the street. If that is not taken into consideration, our people, our poor people who don't even have voices to speak out, will continue to suffer, will continue to die untimely deaths, because there's no one standing up to talk about issues that's really affecting our people in Sierra Leone. I know there's a lot of poverty, but there's a lot of corruption in Sierra Leone that's not being addressed. Bribery, unnecessary bribery. You can't even have you can't even have a service without bribing somebody. If I went to the hospital and I want to be seen, if my son has sickle cell disease and they want to be seen, they're in pain, you have to give the nurses, the doctors money in order for you to be on the line, to be in the front of the line to be seen. That needs to be stopped. I go to immigration, I want a passport. I want to fix a passport. I have to bribe someone extra amount of leons in order for me to get a passport that I'm entitled to get. Why can't they have a set amount of money and people don't need to bribe extra money? I don't care if somebody needs their passport. Okay, they can make it legal and say, okay, if you want your passport processing to be expedited, you pay such and such amount of money. That is legal. If it's written and say it's a law, then when I go, I want to have my passport in a rush, then I'll pay I'll pay extra money to have it expedited. But if there's nothing that says you have to pay extra amount of money and people are demanding extra amount of money for you to get a service that you're entitled to, it's wrong. Sierra Leone, we need to grow up, and Eskroma, help us, or whoever next is going to be our president, help us. We need to get rid of bribery. We need to get rid of nepotism. We need to get rid of favoritism. We need to get rid of corruption altogether. Thank you. If you're listening and you're Sierra Leonean, I love you. My name is Musu, and I live in Florida, United States.